I'm actually surprised if you managed to predict I was going to be coming on here. Actually, let me go grab some socks. My feet are awfully chilly. Let me go grab some socks. Bigger chance to give people a chance to get in, since I am moving this stream up in schedule, quite frankly. Oh, man. But I hope everyone is doing well, of course, more than anything. Afternoon. And let's get the old pooter on. That way we're ready to go once all that shit's done. I wonder if anybody's seen the post yet. The one that I put up. Those two people engaging in daylight knobbery. I'm still laughing over that shit, I'll be brutally honest. Oh, Jesus. But as I said, you have to laugh at the end of the day. Otherwise, you cry. And then in my case, I have a mental breakdown and start ranting and raving when I'm fucking getting hit with 1% shots in XCOM. But I digress. There is quite a bit to talk about. Not just the subjects I put in the title, but there's also something about Elon Musk that I need to talk about as well. Something that I must admit I'm a little disappointed in Musk in, quite frankly. So we'll worry about that later down the line, of course. First and foremost, let's get the most important subject. How many strokes am I going for? 0, I hope. I'm trying not to have a stroke. That's the thing. I don't want to be like... Well, no, that's not the plan. No. I want to stay alive for at least another 30, 40 fucking years. But I digress. I've literally just lost my train of thought now. Oh yes, Sadiq, terrorist sympathiser Khan. That man who's flat out refused to investigate the grooming gangs. And I mean, completely refuses. I don't know what person, quite frankly, in their right mind, would go out of their way to actively deny children who have been subjected to the most horrendous kind of abuse any justice. Can we keep it English as well, please? Because unfortunately, I'm not a linguist. I don't know any Russian, Ukrainian, or Polish, or I don't know any Italian, and I barely know any fucking French. But Sadiq Khan has decided to come out and say that he is not going to investigate these grooming gangs. Am I really surprised at this? I'll give you 3 guesses on that shit. Considering this guy was a sympathizer of the 7/7 bombers after he went to go and see one of the families of one of these pricks. Considering he is also one of the people that has decided to put in this wholly corrupt ULEZ scheme. And my computer's cleaning up. Come on. Hurry up, you. I need to get this booted up. I don't need my life to be harder. I do a good enough job of that shit myself. Anyway, why would Sadiq Khan want to deny those kids justice? Begs the question. And this is just speculation at this point. But I suspect he may secretly sympathize with those people. I think he wants this to continue, quite frankly. This is just speculation, of course, and I'm not going to say that it's 100% true. Because unlike the mainstream media so-called journalists, aka activists, I know where I draw the fucking boundaries. And I certainly draw the boundaries regarding breaking the law. Something the media doesn't, because we often see him breaking Section 2 of the 2006 Fraud Act, fraud by false representation, when they continue libelously slandering us as far right. I'm still looking for this mythical far right. God, you'd almost think it really was mythology, and we were in fucking Greek or Norse times. Where are the far right? Do you see him? I heard they're far right over there. Like, they just don't know how to tell the truth. And Sadiq Khan doesn't know how to grow a fucking spine. He doesn't know how to give the people who have been victims of the most horrific abuse. Hello, Steve. I'm doing okay. Hope you are as well. But I tell you one thing. If I was any kind of person, like I am now, both of them, in fact, I would be wanting those kids to be able to live their lives and live their lives without this constant worry about, am I going to get violated by these kids, quite frankly. But that's just Sadiq Khan for you in a nutshell. Same man, as I said, who basically wanted to support one of the families of the 7/7 bombers. The guy who waged war on the motorists. The guy who keeps on acting like a petulant schoolchild when answering questions and does a good job of answering questions, as I'm doing, of losing weight. But of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. But what else? What else? What about Keir the traitor Starmer? Let's have a little dig into him. Hang on a second, let me get my shovel. Anyway, I am going to start digging up a hole for Keir the traitor Starmer now, and then I'm going to fill the hole back in. Because this man has come out once again and has said he's going to do everything he can to support Ukraine, even if it takes 100 years. And I've already put a post up on my thingy, which basically says, so he's more than willing to fund a war with Ukraine instead of, I don't know, trying to get peace for Ukraine and Russia. I mean, I know it's a novel concept. Doing the right thing, it's very novel indeed. And it seems to be very, very difficult for our career politicians. But you know, it might just make you just a little bit popular. It might make you, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong with me. But it might just make you that little bit better. It might make you capable of actually being liked by the British people, or any other people for that matter. No, Keir the traitor Starmer would rather piss your taxpayer money up the wall funding a war. Because after all, if he decides to make peace with these two nations, then basically he's not going to get even richer. Well, I'll tell you right now, he may be financially rich, but he is completely morally bankrupt. But we already know that. That's not exactly new news, is it? I wonder, though, when will Keir the traitor Starmer face any form of justice? When will he be sitting in front of a high court judge and then he goes, send him down, because that's what he deserves right now. Immigration lawyer, yeah, I know he was a lawyer as well. He was also a human rights lawyer as well, ironically. And what is it? A lot of these illegal immigrants that are coming over here that have no legal human right to be here, what do they all rely on to stay here? Human rights. So that's something else to mention as well. Why would Keir the traitor Starmer want to be a lawyer of human rights specifically? And then you can put all the pieces together. You can put one and one together. And in my case, make four. Anyway, you can make one and one become two and finally put the pieces together and see exactly why he became a lawyer in the first place. So he can help all these illegals stay in this country and then proceed to turn our country into a third world shithole, quite frankly. Like, it should be obvious to even the most inept blue-pilled people, but unfortunately, a lot of these people are apathetic. A lot of these people do not want to make sure that this is exposed. And good, Christine, as well. I will be covering the inauguration day. I will be covering, if I can, the Southport trial. Obviously, making sure not to prejudice the case, because, again, I know the boundaries of the law, and I already know what's already in the public domain, which is the fact that, of course, Axel child-murdering Radha Kabana ended up killing 3 innocent girls. God rest their souls. Because after all, you can't exactly walk into a building, or in this case, walk into a club, go and shoot or stab people with dozens of people watching and expect to be found innocent. You just can't. That's like me stepping on the scales and saying, I am 12 stone. Then the scales tell me, get the fuck off, you bastard. But in all seriousness, you can't expect to sit there in your houses of treachery, I mean Parliament, or maybe I was right first time, and expect people to keep quiet about what this murderer really is. I mean, another couple of things that have already been put in the public domain is, of course, the fact they found ricin in his home and they found an Al-Qaeda training manual. This isn't stuff I'm making up. This information's already in the fucking public domain long before they said nobody talk about the case. So they can't exactly come out and arrest us for saying this shit. That's the thing. Axel is effectively going to have to go into the trial being a man with a smoking gun, or in this case, a smoking knife. How are they expected to walk away from a jail sentence? How? But what sickens me more than anything, and I have mentioned this in my last video or live stream or whatever, but the Manchester airport attackers, the 2 Muller writers who decided to go and attack the police, and then the whole media came out like, look at what this horrible subhuman policeman did. Look at what he did to this Muslim, stamping on his head. And then, when the CCTV footage come out, it's so satisfying watching the fuckers squirm, quite frankly. Watching them be like, oh shit, we need to change this, we need to change this. It looks like we're siding with those people. And then they have to say, oh, they actually attacked the police. Because obviously if they don't do that, their credibility goes up in smoke. Just like that. Now those Manchester airport attackers, they are on bail. Apparently they put a plea of not guilty in. Frankly, these people should be about as free as a steel I-beam in a building. They have no purpose whatsoever being out. Hope you're well. Love the channel. Agree with what you say. Appreciate the support. I really appreciate all of you being here, of course, more importantly. Because after all, without you lot, this channel would not be where it is now. It just did Starmer's warming on the sub base. Oh, I am going to talk about that. Don't you worry about that. I'm just getting the other shit out of the way first. That's all. So I will mention that. But as he said, Martuzi's covered this stuff about what Keir the traitor Starmer is saying. So if they want to say that shit, I'm going to tell you right now, Keir the traitor Starmer can take one of these and swivel. Because there is no way I'm obeying that order. The only way I would be able to do that is if I was 6 feet under. That's the only way you're going to get me to stay quiet about this. You're going to have to send a hitman over to kill me, quite frankly. Because I ain't fucking shutting up about this. But I do want to cover the other stuff first. So the Manchester airport attackers, they should be in jail. Because it's disgusting to think that we have people who are violent offenders or sex offenders that can get away without either A, being deported if they're illegal immigrants, or B, avoid being jailed. That's the way I look at it. It's disgusting to think they're allowed to get away with either a suspended sentence or no jail at all. And yet, if Bob dares say anything on Facebook about the Southport riots or dares to say anything that goes against damn it, stroke number one, say anything against the government narrative, that's it. Your history. In jail you go. It's disgusting to think that no, not 999, but it's disgusting to think as well. Tommy Robinson, who put out that video, which he even agreed to their draconian terms of not releasing silence documentary. But it turns out everything that he said about the case, as far as the silence documentary is concerned, was true. 100% true. Oh, I'm going on the fence. Don't worry about that. Again, mention that later. But Tommy Robinson had to do the covert recordings with a camera that's basically in the middle of his fucking chest on a top or something or what have you, because otherwise people wouldn't speak out about it. He had to go covert because otherwise, if you try to say, what are your thoughts on this? Bam. He ends up basically losing that evidence. It's a bit like you're tracking a majestic creature in the forest and you see it, and you know if you make one wrong sound, that opportunity's gone forever. But now, we of course have had people say that Tommy Robinson is not a political prisoner. Why did the Attorney General get involved? Tommy Robinson is a convicted criminal. Oh, well, you're going to overlook loads of other people who are criminals. You're going to overlook the fact that Keir the traitor Starmer is basically going out of his way to attack Russia by supporting Ukraine and funding wars. You're going to ignore the fact that Tony the War Criminal Blair sent soldiers to their deaths on a false pretense of war. You're going to overlook the fact that 100 Labour MPs went to go and interfere with the US elections. I think I already covered that one, Christine, by the way. He is definitely covering those legal fees, by the looks of it. But they want to overlook all this shit. But they want to go after Tommy and slander him and screw him. And people wonder why I say Tommy Robinson doesn't need sex. He gets fucked every day, quite frankly. It's astounding that so many MPs are willing to overlook all this. Absolutely astounding. I was going to sell a kidney. Yep. Well, please don't do that. Are you kidding me? Or sorry, are you kidding me? Sorry, that was awful. I should walk off and hold my head in shame. But in all seriousness, Tommy Robinson shouldn't even be in jail because technically, if everything that was said about Jamal was true, that means that Tommy didn't do libel and slander, because that would imply that everything he said about Jamal was not true. Because of that, there really needs to be a retrial on this. And Jamal and his family, they need to pay back the £157,000 that they received from NPCs who couldn't see the fucking woods from the trees. That's the way I look at it. But of course, we all know they won't do that, because then that would prove Tommy Robinson right again, wouldn't it? And they just can't have that, can they? That's the thing. If I make a mistake, I'm the first person to put my hands up for it. When the establishment makes a mistake, they're quick to roll out the carpet and cover it up. Well, Keir the traitor Starmer's time is running out big time. Between the Southport cover-ups, trying to silence us over Southport, protecting the Muslim community who have been actively seeking to kill us all, and of course funding wars and refusing to do anything about the Tommy Robinson situation, there's no way Keir the traitor Starmer will last the whole term. There's no way he will last longer than a year And that's being very fucking generous. Most he's probably going to have like a month, maybe 2 more, and then he's going to be out. And when's enough? Well, that's the thing. We need to think about what we're going to do, because talking isn't working, quite clearly. Talking is getting us nowhere. And as much as the thought sickens me, the cold, bitter truth is there are going to be people who go across the line in the sand. There are going to be people who decide they're going to take matters into their own hands. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. I reckon it's going to be in the next few months. We're going to see a revolution. And as I said, Keir the traitor Starmer will try to bring the army in, but there was only half of them that were willing to support Boris Johnson, and that's with him in power. What about Keir the traitor Starmer? 20% if he's lucky. Probably more likely 10. The top brass. But I don't want to talk too much about that shit. I don't want to condone or justify or want a violent revolution. But it's going to end in that if Keir the traitor Starmer doesn't stop with this. He needs to resign. Tommy needs to be released. And all this nonsense protecting the groomers. Is it? Yeah, Matt. Yeah, that is right. You were right first time and second time. But he needs to understand he will get overthrown if he continues down this path. No question about it. And he's got 2 choices. He either resigns and never shows his face again, or the people are going to have his head on a spike, quite frankly. Because we're not progressing, we're regressing. We're suffering because of that man. Now, I do also want to talk about Elon Musk, because this is a bit more personal to me, because it relates to a bit of gaming. But Elon Musk is apparently, I think he tried to start something with a very, very popular gaming streamer and React Dandy known as Asmongold, who first came to be famous. He's very, very fucking popular. He's one of the biggest Twitch streamers right now. He started out playing World of Warcraft. Him and Elon Musk have been playing Path of Exile. And unfortunately, there's been a bit of a dispute going on as far as who's done what, as far as achievements in Path of Exile is concerned. Now, do I think Elon Musk should be focusing on that shit? No, I do not. I think he's wasting his fucking time. There are far more important things than who's got the biggest dick, quite frankly. I think you should ask Dixie Enormous. I think he would be able to tell you. Anyway, he should stop focusing on this Path of Exile nonsense. He needs to focus on the US, the UK grooming gangs, and freeing Tommy Robinson. If he keeps to that, there is no reason why people should stop supporting him. I am disappointed that he is choosing to focus on the gaming side of things, because that's not really his expertise. He should be focused on the serious issues. And only then can we fix this planet. So, as far as that's concerned, I don't care if Elon Musk somebody paid to fucking level up a character and make it look like he's really, really good at gaming. I really don't give a shit about that, quite frankly. He wants to do that, he's welcome to do it. But I think he should focus more on the more serious issues. So, Elon, please focus on what matters most. Now, the 1st of February, obviously I'm going to be attending that, touch wood. There's only 2 excuses I will accept as far as not going is concerned. Either your body is physically stopping you from being able to get up there, like, I don't know, you've broken both your legs or something, you're unable to travel, or you or your family's on your deathbed, or their deathbed. Because there shouldn't really be anything stopping from going over there and showing support for what Tommy Robinson's going through. At all, in fact. That's the way I slice it. Now, don't worry. Matt the bank robber will not be up there, because obviously I've got to keep this beautiful baby face unmasked. Because if I go in with my balaclava, I'm going to give all those infiltrators and all the left-wing NPCs a chance to infiltrate into our movement. And I can't have that. We can't have that. Tommy can't have that. We need to do everything by the book. I may be of the opinion that we're heading toward a violent revolution, but that does not mean I am not going to conform with the rules of the protest. Because, as I've said before, I'd like to think I'm a man of principles. Except for Mr. Gould, he can get fucked. Fucking hated that deputy headmaster. Anyway, we are people who need to have principles up at this movement. We need to have the integrity that those left-wing NPCs don't have, quite frankly. And the only way we're going to do that is we keep it peaceful, we don't mask up, we don't start trouble. And no, don't worry, I'm not saying I'm not intelligent. I just pretend I'm not, that's all. Keep the moral compass well lubed. Well, if it ends up getting lubed, isn't the needle just going to go like, what? And then, oh, fuck, I can't stop this thing. It's turned into a helicopter and flew off. That's the thing. But the bottom line is, they will do everything they can, once again, to discredit this movement. But if they're not going to conform to what we say and understand, we want Keir the traitor Starmer and the whole of the nonce party, I mean the Labour Party, or again, maybe I was right first time. If they don't understand we want them out and they don't want to conform to that, when you make peaceful resolution impossible, you make violent revolution inevitable. And they will not be able to stop us. I'm not advocating for that, of course, let me be clear. I'm not saying we should go down that path. What I am saying, however, is that it's going to be the inevitable outcome if they don't get their shit together. It is going to be the outcome of what happens if they do not start towing the line. They have to understand that. Now, I think I've spoken enough about that for today. My food has arrived, so I'm going to have a lovely lunch. I'm going to be on Twitch as well, so I will see if I can put that in a link in the chat so that you can join that. Please bear with me. But basically, if you want to see me play some Valheim on Twitch, you're more than welcome to do so. Oh, dearie me. Right, I'll have to go now, actually, so I'll see you guys later. I will put a link in the description after I'm finished. Stay around for 5 minutes, and I'll put that in. You can see me on Twitch. Just don't do anything to talk about politics on there, okay?